She called me pathetically insecure when I asked why her Instagram still said single AF. She sneered, "It gets me attention, deal with it." So I posted our photo with "actually single now." She got her wish and muted my phone. 83 missed calls later. I never thought I'd be the guy airing my dirty laundry on Reddit, but here we are. Some background. I'm Jake, 32, work in IT security. Yeah, pretty much a tech nerd with decent pay. Always been the reliable guy. The one friends call to help move furniture or fix their computers at 1 a.m. Never the center of attention at parties, but I do all right. My dating history before Megan was sparse. Two serious relationships that both ended because I worked too much or wasn't exciting enough. Whatever. I've always been more focused on building my career than chasing relationships. I'm not exactly what you'd call smooth with women. More of the awkward, say the wrong thing, then overthink it for 3 days type. When I met Megan at my college buddy Dave's housewarming party 3 years ago, it felt like getting struck by lightning. Dave had just bought this nice townhouse in the up-and-coming part of the city. Translation: still sketchy, but with fancy coffee shops. The party was packed with people I didn't know. Dave had gone from college hermit to social butterfly since landing his big architecture job. I was doing what I usually do at parties, hovering near the snack table, petting the host's dog, and checking my phone every 5 minutes to see if it was socially acceptable to leave yet. That's when Megan walked in. Megan was everything I wasn't. Loud, the center of every conversation, and drop-dead gorgeous. 27, tall, like 5 feet 9 inches, with this perfect smile and laugh that made everyone turn their heads. She wore this simple black dress that somehow looked runway-worthy, had these intelligent green eyes that locked onto you when she spoke. Within minutes, she had the whole room orbiting around her like she had her own gravitational pull. "Dude, stop staring," Dave whispered, appearing next to me with a grin. "That's Megan. She works with Kim in marketing. And yes, she's way out of your league. Challenge accepted, I guess." When she came to the snack table, I panicked and blurted out some criticism of the cheap salsa. To my shock, she laughed. "Finally, someone with taste buds. I brought the good stuff, but Dave hid it in the fridge. Want some?" Just like that, we were conspiring over appetizers, then talking for hours. She was trying to make it as a lifestyle som fitness influencer. Had about 25,000 followers on Instagram when we met. Not huge, but she was hustling hard. "The algorithm is brutal," she explained, showing me her carefully curated feed. "You have to post at exactly the right times, use the right hashtags, engage with the right accounts." I nodded like I understood any of that. Our first date was supposed to be dinner. It turned into an 8-hour marathon. Dinner, drinks, midnight ice cream, and walking around downtown until 3 a.m. talking about everything. She was fascinating. Had traveled to places I'd only seen on screensavers, could talk confidently about anything from fashion to geopolitics, and made me laugh harder than anyone I'd ever met. I was hooked. My buddy Chris warned me that night via text. "Dude, she's way out of your league, just don't get hurt." I should have listened. Looking back, the red flags were all there, waving frantically in my face while I stood there like an idiot thinking, wow, pretty colors. For instance, throughout our entire first date, she took over 50 photos of everything. Her food, my food, the restaurant, the street art we passed. She made me retake a selfie of us 12 times until she got the right angle. At the time, I thought it was cute. She was dedicated to her craft, right? Or how about when she casually mentioned that her last 3 boyfriends were loaded but boring, and she was ready for someone real? Yeah, subtle. But the biggest red flag I ignored was when I drove her home. As we pulled up to her apartment complex, a way nicer building than I could afford, she said, "Thanks for tonight. It's nice to be with someone who doesn't expect anything from me for once." I thought she meant sex. She meant money. Things moved fast. Within 3 months, Megan was staying at my place 5 nights a week. By month 6, she'd moved in. Said the rent on her place was such a waste when she was always at mine anyway. My 2-bedroom apartment suddenly overflowed with her stuff. Makeup, clothes, ring lights, and all the equipment for her content creation. At first, I was thrilled. How did I, average Jake, score someone like Megan? She was gorgeous, ambitious, and chose me. My friends were impressed, except Chris and my sister Tara, but more on them later. I didn't mind that my spare bedroom transformed from my home office into her studio. I just moved my desktop to the living room. Didn't mind that our bathroom counter space was now 90% her products. Didn't mind that my morning routine had to work around her filming her skincare regimen. These were small sacrifices for love, right? I was making good money, about $98,000 per year. And Megan's influencer gig was still in the building phase, as she called it. Translation: Not profitable. I covered rent, utilities, groceries, most dinners out. She insisted on fancy restaurants for content opportunities. $200 plus dinners where she'd spend 20 minutes taking photos of the food before eating. It's an investment in our future, she'd say. Once I hit 100K followers, the brand deals will be huge. We'll be set. My buddy Chris and my sister Tara both saw through her act immediately. She's using you as her personal bank and backdrop, Tara told me 6 months in. We were having lunch, just the two of us, and I'd been gushing about how Megan and I were talking about vacation plans. What do you mean? I asked, defensive. Jake, you're paying for everything. Have you noticed that? And every time you guys do something fun, it ends up on her Instagram. You're funding her lifestyle and content. I brushed it off. She's building her brand. It takes time, and I don't mind paying. I make good money. Tara just shook her head. Just be careful. I don't want to see you get hurt. Chris was even more direct. We were at our weekly basketball game, and he straight up asked, Dude, does she ever pay for anything? When I hesitated, he pressed, How much have you spent on her career so far? I hadn't actually tallied it up until then. Between camera equipment, I'd surprised her with $2,200, a new MacBook Pro for editing, $2,800, and the constant eating out for content, $1,000 plus monthly, plus covering all our living expenses. It was adding up fast. She appreciates it, I said lamely, and she shows it in other ways. Chris just gave me that look friends give when they know you're being an idiot, but love you anyway. Then the weird requests started. Babe, can you stand over there and pretend to laugh? I need couple content. Can we redo our first kiss? The lighting is perfect right now. Everything became staged. Everything became content. Our vacations weren't vacations. They were photo shoots. A weekend trip to the beach meant 5 a.m. wake-ups to catch golden hour and outfit changes in public restrooms. Sex became scheduled around her content calendar. Not tonight, babe. I have an early shoot tomorrow. The worst part? I was barely in her public life. She'd post these vague captions like, date night with my favorite, but never tag me, never use my name. When I asked why, she said, my followers prefer the mystery. It makes them more engaged. I should have recognized the manipulation. The way she'd make me feel special in private. You're the only one who really gets me, Jake, while erasing me from her public persona. How she'd always have a logical sounding explanation for everything. One night, scrolling through her feed while she showered, I noticed something odd. In the comments of her workout videos and bikini shots, guys were openly flirting. When are we going on that date? Or, still waiting for my DM back? And she was responding with flirty, ambiguous replies. When confronted, she laughed it off. It's just engagement strategy, babe. The algorithm rewards high interaction. I don't actually talk to these guys. I believed her. Because I wanted to. Fast forward to 8 months ago. After 2 years together, I decided to propose. I'd been saving for a ring. Dropped nearly $11,000 on a 1.5 carat diamond. Way more than I could afford, but she deserved the best. I planned this perfect weekend at a luxury resort in Sedona. Cost me nearly $3,000 for 3 nights. Had the whole thing set up, private dinner on a terrace overlooking the Red Rocks at sunset, photographer hidden to capture the moment, the works. I was nervous as hell, sweating through my shirt as we sat there watching the sun paint the Red Rocks all these amazing colors. The waiter brought our dessert. Under a silver dome was the ring box, just like I'd arranged. When Megan lifted the dome and saw the box, her hands flew to her mouth. I got down on one knee, said all the things I'd rehearsed about loving her and wanting to build a life together. The proposal went perfectly. She cried, I cried, she said yes immediately. The hidden photographer I hired captured it all. Then, before even calling her parents, she was on her phone. Babe, can we redo it? I think the lighting would be better if you were facing the other way. And can you kneel lower? I want to get the mountains in the background. We redid the proposal 6 times until she got the perfect shot. I should have known then. Instead, I thought it was cute how excited she was to share our moment. My knees were literally bruised from kneeling on the stone terrace over and over, but I was just happy she was happy. That night, as she edited the proposal photos in bed beside me, I heard her on the phone with her influencer friend Jessica. Girl, it finally happened. Yeah, the ring is decent, could be bigger, but the setting is unique enough for good content. No, we haven't set a date, but I'm thinking spring. Perfect lighting, and I can partner with all the bridal brands during peak season. I pretended to be asleep, telling myself it was normal to be excited about wedding planning. The engagement announcement blew up her social media. Suddenly, she was at 45,000 followers, getting DMs from jewelry companies and bridal shops offering free stuff for posts. Wedding planners wanted to collaborate. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. "This is it, babe," she squealed. "This is my big break." I was just happy she was happy. My buddy Chris texted me that night. "Congrats, but keep your eyes open." Again, should have listened. What Megan didn't know was that the ring had nearly cleaned out my savings. I'd been putting aside money for years, dreaming of starting my own cybersecurity firm someday. That dream got replaced with her dream. I told myself it was worth it. The weekend after we got back from Sedona, we had dinner with my sister Tara and her husband. Tara pulled me aside while Megan was in the bathroom. "That ring cost you a fortune, didn't it?" she asked quietly. I shrugged. "She's worth it." Jake, listen to me. She posted seven different announcement posts, each with a different caption about her journey and finding love. But not one of them mentioned you by name. Not one. I checked later. Tara was right. Everything changed after the proposal. Our relationship became all about wedding content, bridal content, engagement shoot content. She was obsessed with building her platform, networking with other influencers, attending every event she could score an invite to. The thing about Megan, she was smart, calculated. She understood exactly how to phrase things, so they weren't technically lies, but were far from honest. Things I noticed over those months. 1. She never wore her ring when going out with her influencer friends. 2. She called me her boyfriend in posts, never fiancé. 3. She'd angle photos to hide the ring. 4. She'd get texts at all hours that she'd instantly hide when I walked by. Then I noticed something that made my stomach drop. Her Instagram bio still said, "Single fitness, lifestyle, travel, DMs open for collabs." When I pointed it out, she barely looked up from her phone. "Yeah, so, we're engaged. Shouldn't it say that?" She rolled her eyes. "Jake, don't be such a boomer. The single thing keeps my engagement rates up. Guys interact more when they think they have a shot." "A shot at my fiancé?" I asked, feeling my face get hot. "It's not like I'm actually available," she snapped. "It's marketing. It's literally how I make money. Don't you want me to be successful?" And there it was. The manipulation I'd eventually become all too familiar with. She followed up with, "Besides, the algorithm favors controversial content. People see Zingle with my engagement photos. They get curious. They spend more time on my page. More time equals more visibility." I tried to explain why it bothered me, but she just sighed dramatically. This is why influencers shouldn't date non-influencers. You just don't get it. That night, I couldn't sleep. While Megan snored softly beside me, I scrolled through her Instagram. I noticed she had archived all the posts where the ring was clearly visible. The proposal announcement was still up, but buried under newer content. Mostly her in skimpy workout gear with captions like, "Building that summer body. Who's with me?" The comments were enlightening. Jimbro78. "Absolute smoke show. When are you coming to Miami? I can show you around Megan. Miami's on my travel list. Maybe sooner than later." Richard J40. "Still waiting on that coffee date you promised." Megan. "Patience is a virtue. Good things come to those who wait." I felt sick. This wasn't just engagement strategy. This was active flirtation. I made the mistake of confronting her at breakfast the next morning. "So, who's Richard and why are you promising him coffee dates?" I asked, trying to sound casual and failing miserably. Her face went from sleepy to sharp in an instant. "You're spying on my social media now? It's public, Megan. Not exactly spy work to read comments on your posts. Those are my fans, Jake. It's called community building. I need to keep them engaged. By promising to meet them? By flirting?" She slammed her coffee mug down. "This is my career. You knew what you were signing up for when you started dating an influencer. If you can't handle it, maybe this engagement was a mistake." That shut me up fast. The thought of losing her, of having wasted 2 years and all that money, was too much. I apologized. She graciously forgave me, but with a new condition. I shouldn't look at her comments anymore. It just upsets you, and you clearly don't understand how social media works. Isolated from her online world, I focused on what I could see, our life together. I worked my IT job, paid our bills, and ignored the fact that she was increasingly distant. If she was out until 2 a.m. with content collaborators, I pretended to be asleep when she got home. If she was constantly texting and hiding her screen, I told myself it was work-related. My sister Tara tried to stage an intervention around this time. She invited me to lunch, just the two of us. "Jake, I need to show you something," she said, pulling out her phone. "Megan doesn't know I follow her Finsta." Her what? Her fake Instagram. The private one she only shares with close friends. What Tara showed me was a separate account where Megan posted much more revealing photos and unfiltered thoughts. There were screenshots of DMs from men, with captions like, "Sugar daddy potential?" and "He doesn't know about the fiancé yet, lol." The worst one, a picture of my empty side of the bed with the caption, "The ATM is away on business this week. Freedom. I was the ATM." "I'm sorry," Tara said, squeezing my hand, "but you needed to know." I went home and found Megan's iPad. She always left it on the kitchen counter. It wasn't password protected. She never thought I'd snoop. What I found confirmed everything. Hundreds of DMs with men, many explicitly flirty, some arranging meetups for networking coffees, and collaboration discussions. One thread with a guy named Adrian was particularly graphic. He was sending her inappropriate photos, and she was responding with encouragement. When he asked when they could meet up, she wrote, "Soon. Just need to figure out how to ditch the ball and chain for a weekend." I was the ball and chain. It got worse from there. She started doing these Q&A sessions where followers would ask things like, "Are you dating?" And she'd give these evasive answers, focusing on myself, but open to the universe's plan. When I confronted her, it was always the same. I was insecure, I didn't understand social media, I was holding her back. The final straw came during a dinner with my boss and his wife. My boss's wife, Monica, followed Megan on Instagram and was excited to meet her. During dinner, Monica said, "I was so surprised to hear you're engaged. From your posts, I thought you were single and dating around." Megan laughed it off. "Oh, I like to keep my personal life private." I nearly choked on my water. This woman who posted every meal, workout, and outfit was suddenly private about her relationship status. The dinner was awkward. Monica kept asking wedding questions that Megan deflected. My boss seemed confused about why his wife thought I was single when he'd clearly heard me talk about my fiancé. Later that night, I was using her iPad to find a movie for us, something she'd always been fine with, when a message popped up. "Hey, gorgeous, when are you coming to Miami? I can show you a better time than any of those losers in your DMs. Bet on it." From some guy named Tyler. Her response, "Might be there next month for a brand event. Would be nice to have a local tour guide. I'll keep you posted." When I confronted her, the gaslighting began. "It's networking. Tyler works with Fashion Nova. Do you want me to just throw away opportunities because you're insecure? You're using a winky face and flirting with him," I said. "He clearly thinks you're available." "OMG, it's just how people talk online. You sound like my grandpa. This is my career." She stormed out to clear her head and didn't come back until 2 a.m. I pretended to be asleep when she crawled into bed. The next morning, on a hunch, I checked our joint credit card statement. Yes, I'd added her as an authorized user. Another mistake. There was a $350 charge for a hotel downtown from the night before, when she was supposedly clearing her head. I texted my buddy Chris. "I think she's cheating." His response was immediate. "You think? Dude, come stay with me. This is toxic AF." But I wasn't ready to leave. Not yet. I'd invested too much, emotionally, financially. I needed to be sure. And if I'm being honest, I needed her to be the clear villain in this story. I was tired of feeling gaslit, crazy, too sensitive. I started gathering evidence. Screenshots of her messages, the hotel charge. I even went through her laptop when she was at a photo shoot. Her password was my birthday, the irony. And found a Google Doc where she kept a list of men who'd sent her gifts or money via her Amazon wishlist and Venmo. Next to each name were notes like, "Good for free meals," or "Loaded but boring," or "Sends dollars for attention." My name was on that list. Next to it, "Stable, pays bills, low maintenance but getting suspicious." Low maintenance, like a car. I also found a folder of photos she'd sent to different men. Nothing extremely explicit, but certainly suggestive. Poses and outfits I'd never seen as her actual fiancé. That night, I finally broke. We were watching TV, or rather, I was watching while she scrolled Instagram beside me, when I simply asked, "Who's Tyler in Miami?" She froze, then recovered quickly. "A brand connection. Why? And the hotel downtown last night? Was that a brand connection too?" Her eyes narrowed. "Are you tracking me now? Going through my stuff? That's psycho behavior, Jake. Classic deflection. Make me the bad guy for catching her." "The hotel was on our joint credit card, Megan. The one I pay off every month." She switched tactics instantly, tears filling her eyes. "I needed space to think. You've been so controlling lately, questioning my methods, making me feel bad about building my brand. That hotel was self-care." "Self-care," I repeated flatly. "With Tyler from Miami? What? No, Tyler's not even in town. God, you're so paranoid." I pulled out my phone, opened Instagram, and showed her a post from Tyler's account. A selfie at our city's famous arch, caption, "Business trip turning into pleasure." She snatched my phone, scrolled through his profile rapidly, then threw it back at me. So what? It's a coincidence. This city has millions of people. Stop lying, I said quietly. I know about the messages. I know about the wish list. I know I'm just the stable ATM to you. Her face changed then. The tears dried instantly, replaced by cold calculation. Fine. You want the truth? Yes, I meet up with followers sometimes. It's networking. And sometimes it's more. But it doesn't mean anything. It's just for my brand. Our engagement doesn't mean anything? She laughed. Actually laughed. Jake, be realistic. Do you really think someone like me ends up with someone like you without some kind of arrangement? You get arm candy, respect from your friends, regular sex. I get financial stability while building my platform. It's a win-win. It felt like being punched. So the past 2 years, the engagement, our plans, that was all fake. She sighed impatiently. Not fake, strategic. I do care about you, in my way. But this isn't a fairy tale. Grow up. I slept on the couch that night. She didn't even try to stop me. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened. Made smoothies, talked about her content schedule for the day, asked if I could Venmo her $500 for a new ring light. I sent the money and started planning. The next morning, something in me just broke. I was done being gaslit, done being told my feelings didn't matter, done financing her lifestyle while she emotionally cheated and hid our engagement. I acted normal, made her favorite breakfast, avocado toast with poached eggs. Basic, I know. Told her I was sorry for overreacting. She seemed relieved, gave me a quick kiss, then immediately went back to her phone. Big day today, she said. I'm meeting with this wedding planner who wants to comp our entire wedding if I document the process. Could save us like $30,000. That's amazing, I said, already formulating my plan. Hey, I've been thinking, maybe you're right about the social media thing. I should be more supportive. She barely looked up. Finally, yes, thank you. In fact, I continued, I was thinking we could do a big announcement post together. Really make it official. Maybe this weekend at that rooftop bar you love? The one with the city view? That got her attention. Really? You'd do a professional photo shoot? Absolutely. I'll pay for the photographer. Whatever you want. She squealed and hugged me. This is going to be amazing content. Little did she know what kind of content I was planning. For the next 3 days, I was the perfect fiancé. Supportive, enthusiastic about her social media plans. Meanwhile, I was setting everything up. I had to be methodical. First, I contacted my bank and separated our finances. She had access to my accounts for emergencies. I moved half the money into a new account. Next, I called my landlord, explained the situation, leaving out the embarrassing details, and arranged to break the lease. I found a modest one-bedroom across town and paid the deposit. Then I contacted a photographer friend, not for the cute couples shoot Megan was expecting, but for what would come after. I also consulted a lawyer, quietly, during my lunch break. I needed to know my options regarding the ring. Turns out, in our state, engagement rings are considered conditional gifts. If the engagement is broken, the ring goes back to the purchaser. I made arrangements with a local jeweler to take the ring back. At a loss, of course, but better than nothing. The hardest part was pretending everything was normal. Sleeping next to her, knowing what she really thought of me, was torture. But I managed, thinking of it as the final performance in our fake relationship. Saturday arrived. Megan spent 3 hours getting ready, trying on 6 different outfits before settling on a tight red dress that popped against the skyline. She looked beautiful. I'll give her that. At the rooftop bar, sparkling water flowing. Megan never drank sugary cocktails. Empty calories. Professional photographer capturing every moment. Megan was in heaven. She kept staging kisses, laughing poses, contemplative gazes into the distance. These are going to be amazing for our engagement announcement, she gushed, finally making it official to my followers. After about an hour, I excused myself to the bathroom. Once out of sight, I gave my friend James the signal. He was seated at a table nearby, his camera ready. I returned, took a deep breath, and said loudly enough for nearby tables to hear, "So, should we make this official on social? Change that single status finally?" She waved dismissively. "Babe, we've been over this. It's better for my brand this way." "Right, your brand," I nodded. "The one I've been financing for 2 years while you flirt with guys in your DMs and hide the fact you're engaged?" Her eyes widened. Several people were now watching. "I saw your messages with Tyler," I continued. "And Brandon, and Scott. Should I keep going?" "You went through my phone?" she hissed, trying to keep her voice down. "Didn't have to. You left your iPad open. Real careless for someone leading a double life." She grabbed my arm, digging her nails in. Can we not do this here? I pulled away, stood up, and spoke even louder. Why not here? You love audiences, right? Live in public, die in public. Then I took out the small velvet box I'd been carrying. Her eyes lit up momentarily, thinking this was some weird stunt leading to a better ring. Instead, I opened it to reveal the empty space where her current ring should have been. I already took the ring back this morning while you were at the gym. Jeweler gave me 70% back, almost $8,000. Not bad. Her hand flew to her other hand, just now noticing the ring was gone. She'd been so focused on her makeup and outfit, she hadn't even realized. You stole my ring? She shrieked. My ring, I corrected. The one I paid for. Just like I paid for this apartment, our vacations, your car insurance, and pretty much everything else while you built your precious brand. By now, half the rooftop was watching, and James was capturing every moment. As of today, I said calmly, you are actually, truly, legitimately single, just like your bio says. Congratulations. Your online presence and real life finally match. I placed my water glass on the table and walked out as she started screaming. Behind me, I heard the commotion as she knocked over glasses, trying to grab her things to follow me. Perfect. The more dramatic, the better. What happened next was better than anything I could have planned. Megan's meltdown went fully public. She stormed after me, screaming accusations and obscenities through the bar, out into the street, creating exactly the scene that someone obsessed with their public image would dread. James caught it all on video and photos. I had already packed my essentials and moved them to my new place that morning. The rest would come later with movers I'd arranged. Once home, I unblocked my phone, had turned it off during the confrontation, to find 37 missed calls and over 50 texts, not just from Megan, but from mutual friends wondering what the hell happened. Some highlights from Megan's texts. How dare you humiliate me like that? You're going to regret this. Answer your phone, you coward. I swear to God, Jake, I will ruin your life. Please call me back, we need to talk this through. Baby, please, I'm sorry, let's fix this. The progression from rage to desperation was fascinating to watch. Instead of responding individually, I made one simple social media post, my first in nearly a year. I posted the photo James had captured of Megan's face contorted in rage as I walked away, alongside screenshots of her flirty DMs with various men, and a picture of her Instagram bio still proudly proclaiming single. My caption, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. After 2+ years and an engagement, I found out I was just funding the single lifestyle brand. Plot twist. Now she actually is single. No regrets. Then I turned off notifications and went to bed. By morning, things had exploded. My post had somehow gone viral within our extended network. Megan's carefully curated influencer image was in shambles. Comments flooded her latest posts. Wait, you were engaged this whole time? So you were scamming all these guys while having a fiance pay your bills? Yikes. Unfollowing. Can't support fake people. Her follower count was dropping by the hour. The best part? 3 different men she'd been stringing along all showed up in her comments, realizing they'd been played. Tyler from Miami was particularly vocal. You told me you were completely single and considering moving to Miami. I was looking at apartments for us. Her brand partnership started pulling out. Turns out wedding companies don't love working with someone exposed for faking her relationship status. Then the emails and texts started. Jake, please, you don't understand what you've done. My career is over. I swear I can explain everything. Those guys meant nothing. My sponsorship with Bridebox just dropped me. That was $5,000. How am I supposed to pay rent now? Can we please just talk? I made a mistake. I got caught up in the numbers game. I didn't respond to any of them. I asked my sister Tara to go with the movers to get the rest of my stuff. She reported back that Megan was a mess, begging her to convince me to take her back, saying she'd change her bio, post about our engagement, anything I wanted. She tried to give me a sob story about how she's broke now, Tara said. I told her maybe she should try getting an actual job. 2 weeks later came the final pathetic attempt, a public apology post where she tagged me, talking about growth and learning and how social media creates toxic incentives. Classic non-apology where she blamed the platform instead of herself. The cherry on top? She ended with, Jake, if you're reading this, please call me. I can't make rent this month. I never called, never texted. She showed up at my job once. Security escorted her out. My coworkers, who had heard bits and pieces of what happened, were surprisingly supportive. My boss, who remembered the awkward dinner, pulled me aside and said, good for you standing up for yourself. Now maybe you can focus on that promotion we discussed. Right. The promotion I'd been too distracted to pursue while funding Megan's career. The aftermath wasn't all smooth sailing. Some mutual friends sided with her, either believing her spin or just wanting to stay in the good graces of someone they thought would be famous someday. That hurt, but also showed me who my real friends were. Chris and Tara were rock solid. Chris helped me set up my new apartment, and we reinstated our weekly basketball games that had mysteriously disappeared during my relationship. She always had some content thing you couldn't miss, he reminded me. The money situation was tight for a while. I depleted my savings on the ring, our lifestyle, and all her business expenses. But without Megan's constant drain on my finances, I was surprised how quickly I bounced back. 3 months later, my life looked completely different. My apartment was half the size but felt twice as spacious without all her stuff. My bank account was actually growing again. I'd gotten that promotion at work and was back to saving for my own business someday. The social media fallout eventually died down. Megan tried various rebrand attempts. First as a victim, my ex was controlling and didn't support my dreams. Then as a growth guru, how I learned from toxic relationships and emerged stronger. Then finally as a authenticity coach. The irony. None of them stuck. Last I heard through the grapevine, she'd moved back to her hometown and was working at her mom's boutique clothing store. Her Instagram following had dwindled to less than 10K, mostly morbidly curious onlookers and bots. As for me, that promotion at work turned into a leadership position. With the money I was saving, amazing how much extra cash you have when you're not bankrolling someone else's fake lifestyle, I finally started my own cybersecurity consultancy on the side. Small gigs at first, but growing steadily. 6 months after the rooftop showdown, I ran into Monica, my boss's wife, at a company event. She'd followed the whole saga online. "You know what impressed me most?" she said. "You never trashed her character. You just showed the receipts and walked away. That's class." I hadn't thought about it that way, but she was right. Despite everything, I never called Megan names or made it personal. The facts spoke for themselves. The hardest part wasn't the money lost or even the embarrassment. It was accepting that the connection I thought we had was never real. For 2 years, I'd been in love with a mirage, a carefully constructed persona designed to extract maximum value from me while giving minimum in return. It's been a year now since everything imploded. I'm dating again. Casually, carefully. My new apartment finally feels like home. My business is taking off and I'm actually saving for retirement again. Last week, Chris and I were having beers when he asked if I regretted anything about how it all went down. Honestly, I regret not listening to you and Tara sooner, I admitted. All the signs were there from day one. True, he nodded. But sometimes you've got to learn the hard way. The only contact I've had with Megan was an email she sent 3 months ago, a last desperate attempt to reconnect. The subject line read, "I really did love you. I didn't open it. Some stories don't need an epilogue." The end.